Hello, welcome to How to Play Whole of Mana, a card game for two players, particularly young players like children. This is an excellent skills game for them to learn a card deck and to practice card counting. The objective, of course, is to be the last player with cards in your hands. There's a brief description of the rules there. So basically, we're going to shuffle a standard deck of cards, and we're going to deal out 10 cards to each player. That's the original rules, which I found on Paget.com, which is, of course, an encyclopedia of card games. It has every sort of card game you can imagine, invented card games. Probably most of the card games in the world you will find on Paget, and if you don't, you can submit. The website's ran by a lover of card games, has done a tremendous job for decades maintaining it, and it is a absolute treasure to anybody who enjoys card games. So basically what's happening, players are laying down a suit of cards, it doesn't matter the rank, and the other players are following by giving every card in that suit, and then they're alternating turns. So now it's player two's turn, he puts down a club, player one has to give him all his clubs. Now player two did not have a diamond, so the game's over. They compare who has the most cards. Player two did, he had 7, player one only had 2. You could play this to an agreed amount of points, an agreed number of rounds, an agreed number of wins. However you'd like to do it, it's up to you. And it's a very simple game. It's enjoyable, but it's not a lot to think about. You could teach somebody in 5 minutes. This is also an excellent task game, sort of like Old Maid. If you need to decide a start player to your game night, this is an excellent game to figure out who the start player should be. You could have 2 players go at it, and then whoever survives and the last 2 players go at it, then you'll know whoever the last player with cards in hand was, they can start your game. So now when you lay down a suit and nobody else has that suit, you would then have to lay the rest of your cards down, but since this was a double occurrence of that, it then forced player 2 to run out of cards, so therefore they lost, because once you run out of cards in this game, it's an automatic loss. But essentially what happens is if you lay down a heart and the other player does not have a heart, you must lay the rest of your hearts down, and then that's your turn's over. So you have to somewhat be careful about giving up a card that you have a lot of in that suit. So there was no hearts that player 2 had, so player 1 gives all his hearts. Now player 2 plays a diamond. Player 1 didn't have a diamond, so player 2 gives all his diamonds up. Player 1 plays all his spades, and player 2 is forced to play his club, and he has run out of cards, therefore he's lost. Now you could also do this game with 13 cards. There's a lot less chance somebody doesn't have a particular suit. It works just as well. It's however you want to play this game. This is, after all, your game experience, and rules are meant to be modified to your enjoyment level. So never fear about experimenting with rules, coming up with your own house rules. And that's also a great way for children to play this game, because it teaches them to cooperate. It teaches them to think about rules and why rules exist in a game. There's a lot that this game can offer young players. So now it's a 4-3. Player 1 has won that hand. And now we're going to do it again. 13 cards to each player. Very simple game. Real easy to get into. Great for determining who does what. As it's mostly, there's some slight skill to it, but with the 10 card or 13 card, you don't have the entire deck in front of your hand. So you never know who exactly is going to win. And it feels a little bit better than just randomness, as far as just doing it as a deciding who does what task. So now I'm going to show you another example. There's players have their hands exposed so you can see them. Player 2 now takes his turn, goes with diamonds. Player 1 goes with hearts. And now it's who has more cards. Of course, player 1 has 7 to player 2's 2. So if you enjoyed this game, please hit the like button, and then go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I got a lot more videos coming out. Particularly, I have a Quicks video coming out very soon. A way to generate your own quick sheet using random cards from a deck of cards. Real easy to do. Makes it a very interesting game. Have several other games coming out in the near future. But if you hit subscribe, you'll get them as soon as they come out. And like always, if you want to meet up, play some card games, come to our Reddit page. Also, check out Tabletop Simulator. It's a great place to play card games. It's not the best in the world; takes some getting used to.